The thing about cages is you don't always realize you're in one until you've already built the key. The laughter was a gut punch, arriving a half-second before the words fully landed. A brittle, collective sound that froze the crystal and silver around our dinner table. "Seriously, Leo," my wife, Celeste, said, tilting her glass of Pinot Noir toward me, her smile all brilliant, practiced charm. "How does it feel to watch me climb the mountain while you— well, let's be honest, while you hold the picnic blanket?" Her father, Arthur, guffawed first. That was the signal. The rest of their executive team joined in. Heat flooded my cheeks, but it wasn't embarrassment. It was the ice-cold recognition of a script I'd helped write, but was no longer in. I offered a thin, placid smile, the kind you wear when you're mentally rehearsing a detonation sequence. She leaned in, her perfume suddenly cloying. "Don't look so wounded. You know I'm only playing." Playing. Her chosen euphemism for targeted strikes. I nodded, sipped my water, and let the moment hang. I wouldn't ruin dinner. True reclamation is an act of patience, best finalized after the coffee is poured. There was a before, when we meant something. Before Vogel dynamics. Before her father's nod became her holy grail. I met Celeste when she was drowning in business school case studies. I was the one who decoded term sheets on our worn sofa at midnight. I diagrammed merger structures on napkins. I taught her how to find the narrative in financials, where the ambition bled through, where the weaknesses were artfully buried. When Arthur finally gave her a junior role, she sobbed with relief against my shoulder. We celebrated her first closed deal with pizza on the floor. I faded into the background when she asked. "Just until I find my footing here," she'd said. I believed her. That was error one. Error two was ignoring the quiet evidence. A shared calendar alert for a strategy call at a hotel bar. New, technical jargon in her speech that she couldn't define. The way Arthur's hand would clap my shoulder with a pitying firmness. Then I found a file she'd meant to permanently delete. The trust agreement. Dated years back, during Vogel's near collapse. Assets quietly parked, ownership obscured. The trustee's signature was a flawless, practiced forgery. On my own hand. She hadn't robbed me. She'd banked on my perpetual trust. That miscalculation was her undoing. Grief is noisy. Strategy is mute. I moved silently. I hired a forensic analyst she'd never meet. I traced capital through a labyrinth of shell companies. From anonymous rooms in other cities, I watched board meetings via secured feeds. I discovered just how hollow Vogel's resurgence was, how much debt was masquerading as equity. And piece by piece I bought it, not with a roar, but with a whisper. 76% of the company's true value, accumulated while she celebrated quarterly sales trophies. I scheduled the emergency shareholder meeting for a month before this gala dinner. I held the results, not out of mercy, but for impact. Some lessons require an audience. Back at the table, Celeste was still holding court, flushed with triumph. Arthur stood, raising his glass. "To my daughter, the true future of Vogel." That's when I cleared my throat. "Playtime is over, Celeste." The table quieted, expecting a weak retort. She smirked. "Oh, are you finally going to contribute?" From my inner jacket pocket, I slid a single, legal-sized envelope onto the linen. Not slammed, just placed. I am, as the majority, controlling shareholder of Vogel Dynamics. The silence was a physical weight. Arthur's smile melted into confusion. "This isn't a joking matter, Leo." "I know," I said calmly. "Which is why the board voted to remove you both from operating positions 3 weeks ago." I tapped the envelope. "These are your formal severances. The transition is already complete." Celeste's face went from porcelain to ashen. "This is a sick joke. I'm only playing." I echo, my voice soft. "You're both terminated. Effective immediately." Her chair shrieked against the floor. Arthur fumbled with the documents, his eyes darting over the incontestable letterhead, the official stamps. "You can't. This is impossible." "It's already done," I said, standing. "Tonight was a courtesy. The lawyers will call in the morning." The aftermath was a blur of frantic calls, empty threats, and finally, desperate pleas. I remained unmoved. Arthur resigned before he could be pushed. The board, seeing the new power structure pivoted effortlessly. Celeste cycled through rage, negotiation, and tearful appeals. I offered no explanations. True authority doesn't justify. It simply is. Now, in the quiet, I don't revisit that night for vengeance. I revisit it for the blueprint. It taught me that the loudest laughter often precedes the deepest silence, and that the highest pedestals are usually built on borrowed credit. Love is an unsecured loan. Reclamation is the quiet, irrevocable calling of that debt.